So we're still talking football on the SportsMax zone, and the final of Europe's third-tier club competition, the UEFA Conference League, ended a short while ago with Olympiacos taking on Fiorentina at the AEK Arena. This in Athens, Greece. Let's check out the action now.
Fiorentina unbeaten. Olympiacos have shown incredible resilience to get this far. Turkey last season with Hatayspor had to withdraw from the league after the earthquake. It's been quite some turnaround and rise. Olympiacos on the attack. It's a low shot in by Podence. Here's Dodo on the overlap towards Belotti. And Retsos with the clearance behind that goal. Taken short to Buenaventura. Oh, it's a low one and it's in! Flag is up. This will be checked, of course.
Across both teams, this was the earlier corner, really well thought out.
Falls nicely here for Buenaventura. Now Dodo. Oh, that's a good-looking ball in towards Belotti. And that's a really tame effort.
To find something in there to talk about, Robin, but there's absolutely nothing.
Whipped in. Here's Buenaventura onto the loose ball. Towards the back post, kept alive. Gonzalez totally scuffs the effort. They're just ahead of Kaabi. Andre Horta showing good energy. Shooting chance! Superb save. Terracciano. It's been imperious at the back today. Danger still not over. Oh, it's in! Would you believe it?
It's been so quiet for the course of the game. Got stronger, though, in these latter exchanges of extra time. Wonderfully whipped ball into the Fiorentina 6-yard box.
Offside in the lead up to the goal. Did it come earlier on? Or is it being checked? Or is it going to be a...
Awfully tight. It's the shoulder, isn't it, potentially, of Kaabi that we're looking at. The cut of the grass seemingly helping us to see where both players are.
It's been given. And Olympiacos can celebrate all over again.
And Delibar knows exactly where he wants that ball 70 yards away from his goal.
It's history for Olympiacos. It is history for the whole of Greece.
So 4 minutes before the end of extra time, Kaabi gets the neat header in, close range, Liz, but a lot of good technique in getting that one in, but for a long time we thought this one was going to penalties.
Yeah, it seemed destined for that, in my eyes, surely, especially how the game began. If you think about how the game flowed, how I expected it to flow was more of a, how can I say this, maybe a game of cat and mouse. Fiorentina are a very heavy possession team, but at no point during the 90 minutes and even extra time did they really try and impose themselves possession-wise. It's not that Olympiacos were trying to press extremely high. I just don't think the shape was right. They started the right lineup, in my opinion, with Arthur and Mandragora in the center of the park, Buenaventura filling in as well. But I just don't think they progressed the ball well enough, and that led to a lack of chances for Fiorentina. And then Fiorentina did stunt the attacking thrust of Olympiacos for the most part as well, because this was a pretty, if I'm being honest, a pretty putrid attacking game. But eventually Olympiacos got that goal, and before we even go any further, I've been sort of off form, off color, something that I'm not necessarily used to as the prediction guru, but I'm glad that I got back just a little piece of form. And, you know, Sir Lance, as a former attacker yourself, you know, you still play football. You know, as a striker, when he's experiencing a goal drought, he just needs to see one go in, and it's right back, the ball is rolling. I'd like to say that my ball is back rolling right now.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, but you can't be a mirror of your team, Liz. You can't be off form when it matters the most, and that's something that you've been doing a lot. That causes you to miss out on a big EPL title. So I hope you learn from that.
Well, you see, Mara, we're talking about the UEFA Conference League.
No, you spoke about you being off form, and I'm just saying, like, you know, we tend, the things we love and we follow tends to be a reflection of ourselves. So I don't want you to be off form. So I'm hoping that, you know, you pick up the steam and you walk away with the guru title, because Nikhil, from time to time, he mentions you when you get them wrong.
Well, cricket is an easier sport to predict. You know, it's based solely off the numbers, you know, no real, you know, flair when it comes on to...
So who wins the T20 World Cup before we get back to the Conference League?
Well,
Since it's easy to predict cricket.
No, hey now. What
Hey
I said
now.
that it is easier. I didn't say it was easy. You get me? And Nikhil gets all the praise because he's a prediction guy himself. He's not the guru.
Okay.
But he's a prediction guy.
Yeah.
You get me? And, you know, I've been in season. I've been in my SDC cricket season, so I've been able to really go in depth and look at what's going on in the cricket world right now, apart from the West Indies game. So after my season finishes, or I get some more free time, I'll be able to, you know, really watch some games and give a proper prediction for the World Cup as well.
All right, Liz, so about the Olympiacos success here in the Conference League and a success for Greece in Europe, pretty rare. How much will this result today, you know, be satisfying for Olympiacos and the country they represent?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. It's a similar vein to when Greece won the 2004 Euros, for example, also in Greece. So it tends so it looks that if there's a big tournament or if there's a final in Greece and there's a Greek team or the Greek national team in there, they're almost sure to get the win. But apart from that, you know, the Greek teams have a long history in Europe. It's not, even though this is their first championship, they've been in a couple of finals, they've performed well. But, you know, it's really good that they have a third competition now to compete for, because Olympiacos has been doing pretty well in Europe for quite some time. Panathinaikos before them as well. So, yeah, I think it means a lot. And they brought in a winning coach. Mendele Bar won the Europa League last season with Sevilla, and he's come and he's brought success to Olympiacos this time. They have a very talented squad. They were favorites in my eyes, and although they tried their hardest to not live up to that favorite billing, I think they got the right result in the end, and they were deserved winners, as much as Fiorentina tried their hardest as well.
Yeah, of course, the first Greek club to win a European trophy, Liz. And for me, we have to spend some time talking about Ayub El Kaabi. He has been brilliant this season for his team, a total of 16 goals. And it's as if, for me, there's no stopping him, because the goal had to come. And I was not surprised when I saw his name on the score sheet. Of course, he's been consistent. Yeah,
he has been extremely consistent, and he was actually not too involved in the game beforehand. Didn't get a host of chances. Olympiacos themselves didn't get a host of chances, only had 0.16 XG, I believe, at the end of the 90 minutes. So they weren't creating much. But when they did get that big chance, it was really nice for it to fall to him, because that's who they would want the chance to fall to. He's a very clinical finisher, and he performed really well in the end to get across his defender. It's always nice to get in between your defender, and so the ball comes to you first. And it was a really clinical finish. He got some part of his head onto it, and it was a good cross as well. So, yeah, it was a good finisher, but the number of goals he has been scoring in a European competition, I think, would bode well for him getting a move this summer from Olympiacos.
Yeah, and one of the things that Fiorentina will really sit down and have to process is the fact that they made it to back-to-back finals, and of course they lost to both the finals. So they're a team that of course does the hard work, gets to the finish line, but never crosses the finish line. What do you think, Liz, can be attributed to that?
I think it's just an attitude once they get to the final, because as I've mentioned for the past couple of days now, Fiorentina is a very, very heavy possession team. It's easy to play possession football in the league where maybe a little bit less pressure is on you and they can focus on playing their game. But I think in both of the finals, they have been brave enough to impose themselves on games. Against West Ham, they had the superior ball-playing attributes, but they didn't really impose themselves on West Ham, and West Ham were able to get chances breaking away. They did well to stunt Olympiacos and their counter-attacks, but on the ball, I think that was their downfall today. Italiano, I'm not sure if he would have sent out his team to be a bit more passive than they usually are, but I don't think that they were quite as dominant. As I mentioned yesterday, Olympiacos, this is the first game since the round of 16 where they have had more than 34% possession. They are a team used to having less of the ball, but Fiorentina didn't impose themselves. They didn't try and pin in and sustain pressure well enough, especially with the talent that they have in the attacking areas. So I think that would be their downfall today, and they definitely should have done better in that area. So that's something to improve on, and let's see if they can get to another final to improve it.
But do you think the bosses now will be looking at Italiano and saying, maybe he's not the man to take us across the line?
I think it's a sticky one, because I think Fiorentina are a club in transition. They have a lot of young, talented players, and they are a selling club as well. I'd be surprised to see maybe a Gonzalez, who was linked to a move away from last season, Ikone, seeing how long they will stay. Arthur is leaving this season. He was on loan from Juventus. So they have talented players, yes, but they are going to sell on a couple of these players. And it will be rough on Italiano, because Fiorentina do play some of the best football in the league, but for the second season in a row in league football, they faltered a bit despite having all this possession, creating chances. Since Piatek, I think, has left, they haven't really gotten that strong goal-scoring striker. Bellotti has come in now, and he hasn't really been providing all of the goals that they would have wanted. So they finished eighth in the Serie A, could move up a little bit, but all in all, they got to another final. And for a mid-table club, something like we spoke about yesterday, a mid-table club even getting to a final, that's a big accomplishment for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, before we know it, Lige, our next FIFA World Cup 2026 will be up, and El Kaabi's international career with Morocco coming off a good last World Cup. Can we just zone in a little bit about his ability as a finisher, because Mariah mentioned it earlier on, prolific this season, and just a quick look at the goal itself, because he was close range, and I said it at the top. But those goals aren't easy to score, because he was being hounded. The defender was right there at him. The goalkeeper was there toward the near post as well. And it took a lot of skill, to me, to just deflect the ball with a header away from the goalkeeper in the corner. I thought that was a better goal than it appears.
Yeah, I agree with you. And people, something that's lost on people often, I think that goal scoring is a skill.
Yeah.
So when people see certain goals going and it looks easy,
yeah,
it's never easy. It's goal scoring is a skill, as I said, and I do think that he's a very skillful goal scorer. In terms of Morocco, they do have the resident striker El Nassir, who has been performing for them and been performing at club level for Sevilla as well. Mendilibar will know him very well, obviously, having coached him last season. But I think it still might be a little bit tough for him to break into the first 11 of the team. But he does have quality. I think he'll be in and around the squad for the years to come. And I think it all depends on what he does after this season. Is he going to stay with Olympiacos and try and settle down as a first-choice striker there? Is he going to move on and try and forge his name in a better league, a more competitive league than the Greek league? So I think he has a bright future. He's not the youngest cookie, of course. But
well, yeah, but I think at 30 years old, a lot of strikers are in their prime.
Yeah, especially in recent years.
Right, because of the maturity and the know-how after, in many instances, probably a decade of top-flight football. So I think 30 is a good age for him to be shining now and looking ahead to FIFA 2026.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's not only the usually EPL clubs, for example, would go for younger strikers, but in other leagues, we've seen a lot of older strikers start to shine later on, especially in the Serie A,
yes,
where Fiorentina is from. We've seen a lot of older strikers, Giroud go there, for example, someone who's bigger, just a bigger frame. That type of striker is well lauded in Italy as well. There's several different leagues he could go to and I think and forge himself, and if he continues to score goals, he will be picked up, I think.
Yeah, well, we're going to leave it here. Lige, thanks again for wrapping up the UEFA Conference League for us. Olympiacos with a historic victory here, first Greek club to win in Europe. We're going to talk some cricket later on the show. Lige has some expertise in that area as well, but we'll keep him on the football platform for now. Back with more on The Zone after this.